Ambedkar asked why this kind of feeling of injustice is not coming to the Indians when there are so many South Africas in every Indian village. You understand? In every Indian village there is South Africa. That means I mean segregation. Soviet is a very important place in the Union of South Africa where people, black people suffered a lot. And in India also there is a South Africa, and the Indian people who are fighting for the justice of the Indians in South Africa are ignoring the interest of the particular group which are suffering in India. So public conscience is required, and if democracy is to be successful, if all these requirements, of course there are one or two which I have probably forgotten, and there are so many examples which he has given, and I have ignored at this point. And if these things, preconditions are available, and if people in India and the ruling class understand these essential conditions for successful working of the democracy and the Indian Constitution, our Indian Constitution will remain for a very long time. Of course, every constitution has its own life, and it may survive for some years, may not survive for many other years. Many constitutions which came into existence after the World War II in Asia and Africa from their colonial masters had vanished away, and dictatorship, autocracy, other forms of government are coming. It's only in the case of India that after World War II, which we wrote our constitution, we have been retaining it today. But are we working quite well with the constitution? Whether the government is really implementing the ideals of the constitution found in the preamble, found in the directive principles of state policy, and found in the fundamental rights? When we look at them, we have to say, to a great extent, we have not lived up to the expectation of the framers of the Indian Constitution. We have not lived up to their expectation. What we are seeing today is we are violating the Constitution, and many of the provisions we have not implemented. After the LPCM from 1991 onwards, it is the rich people who are taking advantage at the cost of the majority of the middle class and poor people. And therefore, that if our constitution is to be successful and democracy is to be successful, then it is essential that the ruling class as well as the people realize the importance of these conditions, see that they are attended to, put into practice. Otherwise, I will face a day. Our present Prime Minister says that we are the mother of democracy. India is the mother of the democracy of the world. That is true. There is no doubt about that. In ancient India, we had so many republics, studded with republics. But we have lost it. Whatever parliamentary procedures are there today, May's parliamentary practice, our advocate knows quite well about them. May's parliamentary practice, whatever suggestions were made for the working of a parliamentary system. In the ancient India, in the republics, these things were there. This is what Ambedkar says. Motion, adjournment motion, election, voting system, Salapatrika Grahaka, something like that, secret balloting. All these things were found in Buddhist Sangha, and Ambedkar believes that how could a big Sangha conduct all these things in its activities unless they borrowed from the political institutions of the democratic republic institutions of the day. So we had monarchies, of course, good monarchies, elected monarchies, and republics. Therefore, Modi is right in saying that India is the mother of democracy. But what I want to suggest to our Prime Minister is that please act according to the Constitution. Saying one thing to the world who do not know what is happening in India and doing the other thing are two different things. And therefore, there should be harmony between what we say, what we do. Please do not be under the impression that people believe it. Please do not be under the impression that the world believes it. No. So, we may become Vishwa Guru, or we may not become Vishwa Guru, but we must see that our Constitution is protected. We must see that the Constitution is safeguarded. And to do that, we have to discharge our duties what are found in the preamble of the Constitution and the provisions of the Constitution. Thank you very much for listening.
I would like to call our guest of honor, Sri Sridhar Prabhu, Advocate, High Court, Bangalore, to enlighten us by the works of Baba Saheb and his contribution to our Indian economy, constitution and work on social justice. Sir, please.
So dear friends, the chief guest of the event, Professor B.M. Bai, Professor R.R. Biradar, coordinators of this program, Dr. Gautam and Dr. Sangamesh, all dear friends. In fact, sometimes if you take more time, it can lead to a huge amount of violence. So I'll be very brief in my discourse, and I'll be highly democratic in apportioning my speech. I'll only highlight very few points which are mostly neglected or ignored by the mainstream media and the popular intelligentsia in this country. The first thing I would like to highlight to you, what is very unique about Baba Saheb? What is very unique, what is very special about Dr. Ambedkar? If you see the landscape, political landscape of India in 1947, when we gained independence, three prominent thought processes were influencing our polity. First, of course, is the mainstream Congress movement. Congress not in the political sense, but in the context of the political struggle that gained us the independence. The messiah of Congress was Mahatma Gandhi, who advocated non-violence, at the same time a machine-less society. He wrote Hind Swaraj, in which he said that India, an independent India, should wake up to a reality where machines are not employed to generate wealth. So this was the Gandhian vision, I would say. The second important vision was that of the Marxists. Communist Party of India became the prominent opposition party soon after independence, after the first elections in 1952. But prior to that, it was the important influence on the intelligentsia, students and the masses, particularly the working class. The trade unions, students' federations were all formed by the Marxist intellectuals. So that was the second vision. You are aware, being part of Kalyan Karnataka, that we were under Nizam rule and we gained independence much later than the rest of India. And it is also a matter of history that the Arya Samaj, Marxists and many other diverse groups struggled for the liberation of the Hyderabad Karnataka or Kalyan Karnataka as we call it. So that was the second vision. And within Congress, as our esteemed chief guest rightly said, the Congress was an admixture of various ideologies. Even Marxism influenced the congressmen within the freedom struggle. And in fact, Subhash Chandra Bose also was highly influenced by the Marxism. In fact, the party that he founded, Forward Bloc, is part of the left front for a long time. And the bloc within Congress was called a ginger bloc, and he was the bloc president of that ginger bloc within Congress. So the most prominent intellectuals were also influenced by leftism or Marxism within Congress. So India was was on the crossroads whether to follow Gandhian philosophy or whether to follow the Marxian ideology. Especially the depressed classes within India were highly divided and conflicted. Which way to take? There is poverty, unemployment, untouchability, division within the society, caste conflicts, the income disparities. So the Gandhian model of trusteeship was one philosophy. The other philosophy was the Marxian philosophy. As a golden median, Baba Saheb gave the new vision to India. That is his uniqueness, that is his greatness. If Dr. Ambedkar was not born, as our chief guest rightly said, it is hard to imagine an independent India in the truest sense. Dr. Ambedkar liberated the thought process of the Indians from the dogmatic Marxism, where Tebhaga struggle, where the Naxalbari struggle, where even the Telangana armed struggle were the routine. He also liberated from the thought that we should not go with the machines, and we should have a machineless India as Mahatma Gandhi advocated in Swaraj, in Swaraj. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm really grateful.
I would like to call our respected registrar, Professor R.R. Viradar, to throw some light on this occasion. Sir, please.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Respected chief guest of today's function, Professor B.M. Van, Professor of Political Science, Gulbarga University, Gulbarga, and guest of honor, Sri Sridhar Prabhu, Advocate, High Court, Bangalore, deans of different schools of studies, Director Academics, and DSW, Director Dean of DSW, and HODs, faculty members, students, non-teaching staff, media friends. At the very outset, I wish you a very happy Ambedkar Jayanti to all of you. Already two speakers have discussed, narrated very systematically about Baba Saheb Ambedkar's contribution. And nothing is left to discuss anything relating to Baba Saheb contributions to this country. But as an economist, how we can see his contribution towards establishing a society with equity and social justice. Yes, similar to Gandhian model of development, Ambedkar model of development is also very, very important and playing a very important role in transferring the Indian society and economy. Yes, if you look at the overall contribution of Baba Saheb Ambedkar in terms of polity, economy, society and all, I identified 7 important sutras. So Baba Saheb Ambedkar model of development consists of 7 sutras, which have played a very important role to uplift the weaker sections of the society, downtrodden sections of the society, voiceless sections of the society. So for that reason, we really should pay great miss or salute to Professor Baba Saheb Ambedkar ji. Without Baba Saheb Ambedkar ji and Gandhi and many other nationalists, we cannot really imagine the India getting independence from the clutches of British. They sacrificed their life and got independence from the clutches of British. But now we have different types of the problems, which can be sorted out with the help of Gandhi model of development as well as Ambedkar model of development. So what is this Ambedkar model of development that we have? As Ambedkar's contribution can be seen in terms of already what it is said. One is reservation policy. Reservation should be given in education, employment, so that the weaker sections of the society or scheduled caste, scheduled tribe student people will get better education, better job, and then thereby their income will increase and living standard will increase and equity, social justice can be views relating to the Ambedkar's contribution to this great nation. So thank you very much.
I would like to call Dr. Sangam as the program coordinator for both of times. Sir, please.
Thank you, Ayush. Since program is running so late, so I will be short, briefly, as a formal function, I will be thanking all the dignitaries. All the dignitaries on the dais. First and foremost, Professor Bhattu Satyarana, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Central University of Karnataka. I would like to thank him in his absence here. Also, I would like to thank today's chief guest, Professor B.M. Bean, Professor of Political Science from Gulbarga University. All the way he traveled and he has briefed Ambedkar how exactly his views and his thoughts, how exactly we progress and with his thoughts. Thank you very much for all the way coming here. On behalf of Central University of Karnataka, thank you. Also, I would like to thank guest of honor Sri Sridhar Prabhu, Advocate High Court, Bangalore. He has travelled all the way from Bangalore and he goes to vacation and told the different views and how exactly we can progress, what are the different aspects we have to look after the Ambedkar ji. Thank you for narrating us and bringing the Ambedkarian views. Thank you on behalf of Central University of Karnataka. Also, I would like to thank our backbone, that is Professor R. Biradar, Registrar, Central University of Karnataka, for gracing the occasion. Thank you, sir. Also, I would like to thank the today's program coordinators. Also, I would like to thank all the deans, heads, coordinators, directors of different centers and all the students and teaching, non-teaching and friends and student community and all the persons who are actively and passively involved in this program to bring into this moment for making it a grand event. Thank you, Ambedkar. Followed by this, we will be having the national anthem. After that, we will be heading towards the brunch kind of thing which we will be having after this. So we will be having the national anthem by Jayadeva University and its team.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा सकल जल वितरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे